Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Normally, I have a conversation right now, but my guest canceled at the last minute, and I always keep my comics ready. So whenever I have a cancellation, I do my "What You're Reading" video, so I could show off the comics that I've been reading, and then file them, put them away. So I can't put them away until I do this video. Sometimes they stack up, but it's one of the things I do. I do three types of videos like this. I do the "What You're Reading," which is just back issues and new comics that I've just read. I do the monthly visitor, which is the new comics that I get once a month from Discount Comic Book Service. You know, I sorry to say, but it's like 30 to 40% discount, so I get it once a month. And I'm always seem to be like late to the party. Like I just finally got Vatican City because I think they ship 2 months in 1 month package because I order less and less and less. And then the other thing I do is back issue bonanzas. Whenever I order back issues, I usually do that once a month, and then I show off the back issues that I just bought. So anyway, this is just a what you're reading, and I filibuster a bit until people come in. Uh, hey, RRNTZ, seen Superman yet? I'm going this evening. It's somewhat conflict. I didn't see it yet. I didn't see it yet. You know, is it opened already in the States? I don't know. I didn't see it yet. I'll probably wait a week or two. You know, I have no desire to rush out opening weekend to see movies. You know, I my internet circle is small enough that I can avoid spoilers. But I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I want it to be good, but from 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 this guy's James Gunn's mouth, he seems to be the worst part of it. You know, he seems to be ruining it for everybody. So I'm just gonna wait. You know, I love Superman. I love the Fantastic Four, but I'm just gonna wait to see what people I trust say about it. I don't want to reward bad movies, and I don't want to hate watch bad movies, and I just don't want to go just because it's a Superman movie. So I will wait to see what the consensus is. If it's tolerable, I'll see it. You know, that's the way I'm going to think about it. All right, so what do I got here? I got me a stack that's as thick as my hand of comics that I've read. So about a month ago or so, I did a video with Jason Sandberg and Narwhal. We talked at Paul Ricochet, and we talked about Mr. X. And it made me realize that I still had old Mr. X comics in my to read pile, you know. And I think at one point I was at 22 long boxes of comics that I haven't read. Then I was down to 16, and I think I'm back up to 18 long boxes of comics that I haven't read. So I fished out my Mr. X comics, and I'm now burning through them. I'm reading them, and it's really weird. As weird as Mr. X got, it gets even weirder and weirder and weirder. And I gotta say, it's like the Seinfeld of comics. It's like the comic about nothing. Uh, it. If you ever watched Burn Notice, is I call it the Burn Notice, where they never resolve the story. It's like a National Treasure. Every time they reveal something, all it does is reveal that was wrong, and then they got to do the next. That's the way it is with Mr. X. Like it's like, come on, give us something. I know he's supposed to be Mr. X, and it's supposed to be a random character, and it's supposed to be like unknown, but it's like give me something to work with. The uh, Considering the fact that you know nothing about the main character, this is the second series. I still like it. I still like it. Sounds like I'm complaining, but I still like the comic. So this is Mr. X number 3. Check out these bizarre covers. You know, this looks like they used white out on the real cover. You know, it looks like I did it, but no, it's on the real cover. Hey, Zactan's here. Have a blessed day. Do I want spoilers? No, just tell me if you liked it or not. Don't tell me spoilers. Yeah, I watch. Yeah, I watch. My wife and I watch Bird Notice, but like, you know, the whole premise of the show was like, you get to hear, oh, then you got to get to hear, oop, and then you got to get to hear. You know, it's like Lost. They never really resolve anything. That's what Mr. X is. It's the Lost of comics. Like it's purposely designed so it's never gonna finish up, never gonna resolve. I like it though. It sounds like I'm complaining. So look at this cover. I wonder who this guy is. That's obviously the real guy. sip of Tim Hortons coffee. So more Mr. X. Look at this interesting cover. You know, that's more straightforward cover. You can see like a lot of poinsettia's influence in that from Public Eye, a comic that's being drawn by Marcus Kelligrew. Look at Mr. X. Samson, 89. Wow, 1989. Hey, I'm the pro. How you doing? How's it going? What do we got here? This is pretty interesting. I like these angel wings from like from heating pipes. Just very interesting, very different. You'll never read another comic like this. This issue, it's really weird. He gets pushed off a building and dies, goes to heaven, and then in this issue, he's alive again, and they don't even reference it. Like, was it a hallucination? Because that's one of the things is Mr. X starts to hallucinate because he doesn't sleep, and he hallucinates. So it's like you could just get away with anything because it's just a hallucination, you know. Hey, Creators Outlet, how's it going? Hail nerds in the chat. Look at this cover. I remember seeing this cover. Oh, this is interesting. Check this out. See this sticker? It says Incredible Pulp. Incredible Pulp was my comic book store that I used to shop in. And that store closed like, I want to say like 92, 93. So that shows you how long these comics have been sitting in my boxes. I bought these from the Incredible Pulp, you know, the latest 92, 93. And they've been sitting in my long boxes for that long to read. That's how long it takes me to get through comics. Here's number 11. He looks pretty sinister there. Number 12, Samson. And this is the last issue of this series. So this is the last Mr. X that I read. Next, I think is a one shot, and then a couple of mini series. So this is all about the architect that worked with Mr. X. They make you think that this is the origin of Mr. X, and then they pull the rug out from under you at the last page. But that's the way it is when you read Mr. X. So this is an interesting series. This is Misplaced by Joshua Blaylock. I've started to learn about Joshua Blaylock with a series called Mercy Sparks. And Mercy Sparks just drew me in because it was a sexy devil chick. And what's his name? Cooper, the artist who does sexy devil chicks. Like, I've always liked that guy stuff. So when I saw the sexy devil chicks, I was like, let me get it. And I liked it. I like Mercy Sparks. So Mercy Sparks is like, her mother's a devil. I think her father's an angel. And, you know, she grew up in hell. My only problem is, and it's my problem with most comics that have heaven and hell as settings, is that they're too human. You know, like hell has suburbs and cars, and they go to the store and buy stuff. Like, no, hell is supposed to be like alien and scary. You know, heaven is supposed to be, you know, alien and inconceivable. But like, I just don't like even in Neil Gaiman's Sandman, heaven and hell were too recognizable as like places that could exist on Earth, kind of places. I don't like when, you know, the angels are just humans with wings. Like, angels are supposed to be awe-inspiring, terrifying, non-human entities, you know. But once you get past that, Mercy Sparks is fun. But this is his first series, and you could tell he's interested in like the afterlives. So this is a woman who was abducted by like genies, and the first issue really is a mess. It's just a mess. It takes you halfway through the second issue before you figure out what's going on. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was just amateur storytelling, but she was abducted by like genies, and she lives in like this otherworldly place. And for whatever reason, she failed their conditioning, so they assigned her like a menial job, and she escapes back to Earth, and now these genies want her. Yeah, so she's misplaced. So she doesn't fit on Earth, and she doesn't fit on her genie, otherworldly machine elf kind of world. It's kind of interesting. The art gets a lot better. Especially by the time he's doing Mercy Sparks. What is this? Am I a cover to cover reader? Yes, yes. I wasn't until I'd say my late 20s. Now, you know, now I read the letters pages, the Bolton's, Stan's soapbox. So yes, I read everything. I check out all the ads. I agree. Apparently, they think Heck is modern life. Yeah, yep. I just read a comic book called Heroic Tales #1. Have you heard of it? Yeah, I vaguely heard of it. Apparently, I've been hearing from certain factions that having a loving wife, having 7 children, not cheating on your wife, staying together, not getting divorced, actually loving it is gay. So that's what I've been hearing now, is that having a normal, happy, productive, conservative life is gay. That's what I've been hearing from Comicsgate. So apparently you should be like Cyberfrog and lose every fight you're in and fall asleep for 20 years and then wake up and the girl you love is banging somebody else. That's not gay. Or Rainbow the Brute, dress like a pride flag and take a little twink camping. That's not gay. But a loving relationship with your wife and kids, that's gay. So there you go. It was in my pile for a while. I got to it. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like it. Issue 2, Renzo is finished drawing it. I just got message from Daniel. Daniel is coloring the last 5 pages. So it's rocking and rolling. It's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. It's going to happen real soon. So I'm so excited. And I'm about 3/4 of the way done writing Patriarch #1. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. But I got another project that I'm putting ahead of Patriarch #1 because it's going to be in a real newsstand comic book, so it has a deadline. So I'm giving the priority to that. It's only 12 pages, and then we'll do Patriarch #1. And when we're about halfway through Patriarch #1, I'll launch the campaign. Comicsgate is not a bar for good comics, nor is it a beacon of decent. I'm being. That's what they're saying, and I'm laughing at it. I'm laughing at it. I'm laughing at it. Let's keep Dale poor so he stays with us. So here's number 3 of Misplaced. Like I said, his art gets a lot better. His art gets a lot better. I think this is Devil Do Press, but it's amateur art. These were a couple of bucks each, and I like Joshua Blaylock. He did like I said, I like Bercy Sparks, and that's the way I am. Once I start to like somebody, I if I like a band, I got to get all their records. Records. How's that for an old fogey? I got to get all their 45s and vinyl and cassette tapes and 8-tracks. Like this. I'm a fan of Hellboy, so I get everything Hellboy related. And this is Panya. Panya is this mummy woman that they find, and she just sits, and she has like this gift of foresight, and you don't know if she I sometimes get the feeling like she's playing them all, like she's leading them to something sinister, and sometimes I think she's just sees the future and can't control it. But this is her origin, and I gotta say, I really liked it. I really liked it. Oh, you liked it? Gonna be cool. Link set. Give me a heads up. Give me a heads up. And if you liked it, if you want to write a letter to be in the letters page, write to heroicmails@yahoo.com. Now that Renzo's done drawing, we're going to start putting it together. So if you want to have a letter published in Heroic Tales #2, now is the time to send me a letter. I think I got 3 letters. The original Evangelion had angels in it. I thought they were a very unique appearance, scary for the time. Cool. See, I like that. I like that. Nothing more extreme than what was worked on for thousands of years. Okay. Hellboy universe is awesome. Yes, you're going to see a lot of Hellboy influence in my comic if I get to, like, I have a story set in prehistory I'd like to tell. This is the 2nd issue of Panya. I really liked it. She's from ancient Egypt, so it's not quite as old as some of the other stuff. So I just like this. It's just a regular woman in ancient Egyptian society. And her trials and tribulations of her life. Even when she was alive, now because now that she's a mummy woman, even when she was like fully human, alive, not undead, she had this gift of prophecy. So this is Graham Nolan's Joe Frankenstein, The Eye of Ra, number 3. Joe Frankenstein is my favorite thing that Graham Nolan does. I like Monster Island, but I something about Joe Frankenstein I really, really dig. And in Joe Frankenstein number 2, I don't want to give spoilers away in case people didn't read it. They ask, where have you been? Where have you been? And this story is where he's been. So it's set in the past, catching up the people. And coincidentally, this is Frankenstein from the Mike Mignola Hellboy universe. She was alive until she became a mummy. Yeah. Most mummies aren't alive, right? Right. Yeah. So Panya was a normal human with like the gift of foresight, and then I don't want to spoil it. And then she got entombed and became a mummy. So this is Frankenstein. This is the Hellboy version of Frankenstein. Just he's traveling to like the Hollow Earth, and this is his traveling companion fighting dinosaurs. So you want Frankenstein fighting dinosaurs in the Hollow Earth? This is your stuff. This is your stuff. The Sea of Forever. Oh, Miss Tree. Oh man, I love Miss Tree. Anybody? Oh, let's see. Hello, John. For Frankenstein. Was Alien Alamo was really good. Yeah, really good. Alien Alamo. Yeah, I forgot how good that was. Now that you reminded me of Alien Alamo, I might be agreeing with you. I really like the Shanu. The Shanu was a good horror story. Alien Alamo was a good sci-fi movie. Just yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Alien Alamo was my favorite. I forgot about that. That Western style with aliens and the boy and his dog fighting. Yeah, it was a father. Yes. Yep. Yep. You win. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about Alien Alamo. Joe Frankenstein versus Shanu would be awesome. Apparently, it's all in the same world. All of Graham Nolan's monster verse is all in the same world. So you never know. That would be awesome. Mystery, yes. So for those of you who don't know Mystery, this is flat out detective. This is just there's no superheroes, there's no powers, there's no supernatural. This is the real world. So this is her real name is Michael Friday. That's her born name. The father wanted a son, named her Michael. So Michael Friday, and she grew up a tough, no nonsense daughter of a cop, and her father was Joe Friday from Dragnet. But he says that only in interviews because he can't claim that. But she's Joe Friday's daughter from Dragnet, and she grew up and she married a man named Michael Tree. So it was Michael Tree married Michael Tree. Michael Tree got murdered by the mob. Now, and then Michael Tree's first wife and the mother of Michael Tree's son was also murdered. So now Miss Tree has a 10-year-old son by the man that she was married to for 2 days. And they don't get along. She never had the kid. She doesn't know the kid. The kid's resentful, and now she's Michael Tree, widowed, Miss Tree, ta-da. And she's a private eye, and it's at the real, like there's real repercussions. Like when she shoots people, it takes like a couple of issues of like legalities to she gets arrested, she gets fingerprinted, she has to get a lawyer, they talk about it. She gets beat up, and it takes like a couple of issues to recover from it. It's not just like every she's girl bossing her way through things. Like in the last issue, a guy just she pulls a gun on the guy, and the guy slaps the gun on the way. Miss Tree starts to panic, and he beats the crap out of her. I got to see what happens. That ended on a cliffhanger for me. So there you go. So these are and this is Max Collins and Terry Beatty. Max Collins wrote Dick Tracy in the newspaper for a while, and Terry Beatty and Max Collins, I think they made Wild Dog for DC Comics. I thought Rainbow the Brute was ironically gay appeared. Like that's the joke. Yeah, well, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? He's a guy wearing a rainbow costume. I was ironically calling you a jerk. When you still call me a jerk, you know what I mean? Like, I love when people say things and then say, I'm saying it ironically. Look at how gay Rainbow the Brood is, if it ever exists. It's vaporware. What am I reading? Non-comic recommendation. Tune in, Lewin's Son, the most in-depth Beatles biography ever. Oh, cool. Mystery is a cool play on words. Mystery, is this a new series? God, no. This is 1989. This is published by Aardvark Vanaheim, the same company that did Cerberus. 1 to 10, 1 to 9 were Eclipse. Then I think 1 to 11 to 19 were Aardvark Vanaheim, and then I think the rest were Renegade Press. And then it went to DC, and then we never saw. I think now there's novels. I think there's novels of Mystery. Yeah. So this is like 89, around then. Yeah. I was hoping for a date on the cover. Oh my God. This issue would never be made today. You see this woman? Okay. Here, same as this woman. This is a man who dresses up like a woman, seduces men, and when the men are vulnerable, she kills them, and then takes her wig and makeup and everything off, puts on another shirt, and walks out like as a man. And the people like, yeah, he left with some blonde. And then, a guy's walking out. Nobody suspects them. And then she finally figures it out, goes to him, and the guy's dressed up like, I'll never be a beautiful woman, and then kills himself. Oh boy. That would never go fly today. Oh, here's the issue where the guy beats her up. This guy is I forget, he's the bodyguard of the guy that she's after. There's like a long story that she's after the La Muerta mafia gang because they killed her husband and her husband's first wife. It's not like they were divorced. Like, well, they were divorced, but it's not like she's got like an art sense of justice, and she's almost like autistic. Like, she doesn't joke. She's very matter of fact. Like, and it's funny because like she wears this old-fashioned haircut and they make fun of her in the book, and she's just like, that's my haircut. Like, she can't change. It's almost like she has a uniform. She wears this like double-breasted suit all the time. I guess it's because it's just easy to draw. And it's funny because like she's a good-looking woman, but she doesn't like go on dates. She doesn't do sexuality. But like issue number 3, it's funny, she gets caught red-handed robbing from the mob. So she takes her shirt off and undoes her bra, and the guy gets stunned, and then she hits him. You know what I mean? So that was like shocking because it's like the least sexy book. It's like the least sexiest book. Even though she's a good-looking woman, she's never, doing anything. So that issue was like, it stunned you. I mean, look at this horrible haircut, but that's like part of it, is people just like, what's with your hair? This was interesting. This was a good story. I don't want to spoil it. Yes, that's 15. So issue 16 is where I'm at. Oh, we got some comments. That's cool how Mystery treats consequences seriously, so the risk feel. Yes. Like I said, she shot somebody in issue 3, and it was like, not every, like, it was in the background. Like, I got to go to court. I got to deal with this. Things like that. I was 3 when that came out. Make me feel old. Hey, Brittany's here. How you doing, Brittany? Brittany is Mabel Bakes. She's the one who mailed me those cookies that, it's funny because somebody is raging about those cookies. Somebody who shall not be named. Hello, Miss Lane. How's the Daily Planet? So this is Local Man. This is issue 25, and I think this is the last issue of the series. This was Tim Seeley. He did a funny thing. It's a flip book, but I can't flip it over. But this is now, and when you flip it over, it's the 90s. So it's goofing on Image in the 90s and then now. So this guy is 30 years older. He's wiser. He's kind of a loser superhero. He used to be called Crossjack, and I think they went like 12 issues. Then this is issue 25. If you remember Image Comics, they just jumped ahead to issue 25. So they do all of the Image tropes in this, and then this just like in issue 12 they wrap it up everything, and then they jump to 25. He has a metal arm, and we don't know because it happened somewhere between 13 and 24. But it's the last issue for now. He said it's going on hiatus, and it's weird that I always feel good when a series ends. I know that's like, unless it's like something I can't live without, and I like Local Man, but I can't live without it. But like, like some comics, like, oh my God, these are my favorite comics. And if they get canceled, then I'm like devastated. But like, I feel like, oh, good, I have the whole set. I read the whole set. Okay, good. It's closure for a crazy person like me. Okay. Oh, I have a few issues of Local Man. Cool. Brittany, I'm about to put the baking biz on the back burner because of our local. Yeah. I asked Ron if you would want to do like a cookie tier, make the different covers of the comics on the cookies. And then like you set the price, you set the shipping, and then we'll do it for like a month. And then you make all the cookies and send them out like from you. So, you know what I mean? Like, I won't make any money. I'll just send you whatever you make from the cookies. But Ron told me that congratulations, you got yourself a something else to do, another business. So cool. I have a few issues of Local Man. Who would rage about cookies? Rar's dumb. Yeah, well, what do you want me to say? I read them and I forgot about it. Yeah. Local comic shop offer. Yeah, I didn't want to say it wasn't my news to say. It's it's funny, as I went to work on Monday, and one of the guys at work was like, "How was the cookies?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He watches my videos. So Heroic Tales #2. Thank you, Marcus. Congratulations, Brittany. Eric the Guapo. Yep, everybody's congratulating. Yeah, good job working at the comic book store, living the dream. So this is X-Men 94. This is the first appearance of the new X-Men in the regular series. The first appearance of the X-Men was Giant Size X-Men #1, and then this is the first issue of their series. I did this for Sunday Comics last Sunday. I did it out of order because I couldn't find it. I had, you remember back like over a year ago, I used to do like 10-minute videos of comics that weren't live. Well, I have a stack of comics that I was gonna do, and this was in that stack. That's where my Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos #1, and I didn't know where I put that stack. Apparently, I put it in a stack of a box of comics with other comics, and then it just got mixed up with comics I haven't read yet. So I was like, oh, I finally found them when I went through all my comics. So there you go. This is the first regular appearance of the X-Men, and I need to point out they're fighting a mafia guy. Last issue they fought a monster. The next issue they fought a mafia guy. The issue after that they fighting demons. This isn't, oh my God, you mutants and we're hated. Okay, this is Private Dance. This is a Kickstarter comic, so it's a movie comic, and it's about strippers. I never claimed to be a prude, but I really like it. It's about a woman. She lives in Detroit, and she hears that for New Orleans during hunting season, right outside of New Orleans, there's the town swells so that people are living in cars because all these hunters come down and they just spend all the money in a strip club. It's based on a true story. So this woman she's down on her luck, it's one of those stories. So she goes down to New Orleans to strip, and there's bar fights and intrigue and drug it, and there's some nudity in it, but it's just like a story about the seedy life of stripping. I and the regular series, because this is down south. This is a spinoff of Private Dance. The Private Dance, their main series, I think it's issue 3, just came out. It's about a couple. It's really sad. It's about a married couple that like they don't want to get divorced, but it ain't happening anymore in their marriage, so they decide to spice up their life. They go to a strip club, and they're like treating each other to lap dances, and things are spinning out of control because like the wife is like starting to get disgusted by this, but the guy is getting attracted to the stripper girl. But the stripper girl is taking advantage of the husband, and the girl that the wife is getting lap dance is starting to get feelings for the. It's like naughty soap opera. I'm enjoying it. You know, what do you want me to say? This was excellent. This was excellent. Free comic book day. I think this was last year, and I finally read it. This was excellent. This was fun. This has been sitting in my to read pile for years. I don't know why I didn't get around to reading it, but this is the first appearance of Rama Tut, Fantastic Four 19. It's not in the greatest condition, but it's in the best condition that I can afford. And it was so good. It was really good. And I already knew the story because they did cartoons of it. I think I read it in reprints, you know, Marvel's Greatest Comics or Marvel Collector's Item Classics. But it was cool to like read the letters page and all that. It's just good. The only bad thing about it is it is such a forced premise. Reed, you know, it starts out Reed Richards is in the museum and he's looking at the hieroglyphics and he deciphers the hieroglyphics on the spot and he realizes that the ancient Egyptians found this cure through radioactivity of how to cure people's blindness. So we're going to go back in time and get that cure. Wow. You know, for Alicia. So they go back in time. They find Rama Tut, who may or may not be a descendant of Doctor Doom and, you know, or Reed Richards. That's the ambiguous part. And it was fun. It was a good story. If once he could get over like even back in 1963, the as far as weak premises go, this was a weak. My all-time most hated issue of Fantastic Four is still the one where they go back in time and Ben Grimm becomes Blackbeard the pirate. I don't know. I just don't like that. And then issue 41. This is from that collection that I bought. I was just telling my wife, I bought that collection before I even met my wife. And I got comics that I still haven't read yet from that collection. And I don't know why this one got skipped because I read them all in order except for 41. I don't know why it got skipped. But this was excellent. This is the Frightful Four, you know, Sandman, the Wizard. There's the Wizard. This is the first time that Pastebot Pete is called the Trapster. So there you go. And then Medusa. And I believe, and Marcus, you're here. Marcus, back me up or correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe that Medusa was originally part of the Inhumans. I think she was just a villain. And then they came up with the concept of the Inhumans and then they included her, you know, because her personality is a little different. You know, I don't see how she would be hanging out with the Frightful Four. She's like almost dating Sandman in this issue. But it's a fun issue. They brainwash the Ben. They brainwash the Ben. Let's see. What do we here? Open marriages always end in tears. Yep. The story that I always tell is there was this girl, Tanya, back in Albuquerque, who's just a lost girl. Beautiful girl. She looked spitting image of death from Sandman, or at least spitting image of the girl that Haley Cinnamon Haley, is that her name? The one that death was based on. Spitting image, and beautiful. You couldn't help but notice her, and myself, like everybody, had a crush on this girl. She was my next door neighbors in the dorm, and she was always crying about guys, you know. And then I don't see her. Semester goes, okay, you know, people come and go in college, whatever. So now I'm living off campus. It turns out she lives next door with a couple. She's like, oh, John, is it, you know, so they're having a party and she's with this couple. And she's like, yeah, I live here. You know, I'm it's an open marriage. I'm with both of them now. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, things are going to go really good until the wife gets jealous because you and the husband are doing the nasty when the wife's not home. And she goes, but, you know, we're a couple. I said, yeah, for now, but you just wait until she goes to work and he's doing you and you'll see. And it's exactly what happened. Takes me a while to read my comics too. Yep. Yeah. I'm very slow. I'm a slow reader. I'm a very slow reader. Superman got a 95 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Said it's not a godlike infallible trick, but okay, cool. I've been hearing, I mean, what's his name? Yellow Flash just said he really liked it. You know, after telling everybody it was going to stink. Like I said, I have managed expectations. I put my expectations way low. I just don't want to pay for it if it's woke and preachy. If it's not woke and preachy, I'll see it. Like I'll if it's bad, it's bad. But if it's woke and preachy, I'm not going to pay for it. So that's what, you know, that's what I'm waiting for. If enough people tell me it's not woke and preachy, I'll go see it. That may be true, but if FSU had really important to the Marvel universe, yes, yes. Well, Ramatut is Kang. That's right. That's right. So it's kind of like, it's not the first appearance of Kang, because Kang was in what, Avengers 18? Yeah, so it's like Kang before Kang and Immortus. I heard a lot of good things about Superman. I'm going to see it. Cool. I think you're right about Medusa. Yeah, it just, you know, it's the George Lucas, just write it as you go along, you know. Oops, Darth Vader's Luke's father. That wasn't planned. Correct him, Marcus. Tell John how much is he wrong and how. Yeah, wouldn't be the first. Yes, Medusa predated the Inhumans. Yes, and I think she was just a villain. And then later on she became Queen of the Inhumans. Like, she didn't behave like this. This isn't the way she's behaving in this issue. Is not the woman who's born royalty, married to the King of Inhumans. And Sabar, greetings all. How you doing? I'm not going to wait a while before I see it. I didn't like going to a crowded movie. I do not trust. I'm going to wait. Yeah, me too. Me too. I kind of like having a semi, I saw like Avengers Endgame opening night, and that was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of movies opening night, and sometimes it's fun, but I'm a 57-year-old grouch, I'm dealing with crowds on the subway every day, my wife and I, we go to it early, like we'll go Saturday early and then go to dinner, like old people. So Superman is pretty much what I expected. A James Gunn film. Yeah, Neurotic said it wasn't woke, but a disappointment. Okay, well that's more than what I thought. Neurotic is disappointed in everything. Is it Neurotic or Yellow Flash? That said, I forget. And here, these comics have been sitting in my box. Oh my God, since before I met my wife. So like 2001, I think I bought that collection. So these comics are from that collection that I keep talking about, and I bought a huge collection. So this is just fun. I read Hulk 100, or was it 101? Yeah, I think 100 was the first of the Hulk series. To 115, and then for whatever reason I got distracted, and it's taken me 23 years to get back to reading them. So here we go. So all of these Hulks that I'm missing. So this is Hulk 116, the leader, Herb Trimpe, and this is 117, World's End. Look at that! Look at that ridiculous monster. Look at it. This is Herb Trimpe, and why can't I think of the inker? And then we got, this is the last of the pile, 118. I just read this morning. This is in this last issue, Hulk gets, he beats up this robot, falls into the ocean, and then this issue he gets rescued by Dorma and then just fights Submariner. You know what I mean? We don't need no stinking plot, and then Submariner just gets Lady Faye or something like that, just like a one-hit wonder woman. She just shows up and says, Lady Dormant's got a man in her room, and that's it. Submariner goes berserkowitz, and they fight underwater. My big pet peeve with all of Marvel and DC underwater is just every other city, except they draw bubbles. Like Hulk takes a pill, Dorma feeds him a pill so he can breathe underwater. It's only later on, I think Peter David started to really articulate how alien it would be to have a city underwater. Like it would be vastly different. But Submariner's Atlantis is just a medieval Roman city underwater. Oh, once in a while you see a fish swimming by. That drives me crazy. I do have an aquatic city in Heroic Tales, and it is more alien than an alien world. Because think about it, these people, how do you do chemistry underwater? How do you smelt metal? Because you don't have fire. You know what I mean? So they're completely different. They don't have, they have a 3D way of thinking. They don't just build houses with steps and doors on the bottom. It's an alien world. I think underwater environments are more scary and dangerous than outer space. So this is the last comic, so I'm just going to leave it here because you don't need to see my dirty coffee stained pad. Let's see. At 8:30, I'm going to go over to RJ. So that's hard limit. So, we'll do an RJ raid over there. So let's see. I'm going to wait for it to come out on VHS. Superman is going to make $1 billion. I hope so. I don't want it to be bad. Yellow Flash likes Superman. So I was right. FF will make 500 million. Those are my predictions. Those are good predictions. Since Superman did well, I pray we get a decent Superman game. Yeah. I love Superman. I love Superman. That's a classic. I've read that one many times in the Son of Origins book. Which one? Which one did you read? I went, which specific comic? Water erosion, bioluminescent light. Yeah. The dog was annoying. The monkeys typing in a room was laugh out loud hilarious. And the drunk party girl, Supergirl, was weird. Really? How does Supergirl get drunk? Volcanic events. Yep. Alien creatures. They don't have fire, but they have thermal vents. Yes, but yeah. So I guess they could smelt metal. Okay. I really like Herb Trimpe's Hulk art style more so than Kirby's, but both show dynamic moves. And all the poop in the sea will land on the underwater city. Yes. I don't know if I like the Golden Age vibe. Well, this is Silver Age. Oh, for the Superman movie. The Superman movie, is that what you're talking about? Oh, the Hulk vs. Submariner. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this one. Okay. This was reprinted in that. The bar is to get Professor Geek to approve of it. I find the Golden Age to be stupid. I like Golden Age. And I like Silver Age Marvel, but I don't like Silver Age DC. They'd have to stand boiling water, though. Right. They would have to get close enough to the thermal vents to melt the metal, and that would kill people. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's one of the things I'm trying to. I don't want to spoil it, but I have an underwater villain, and he has, through unfortunate events, basically captured humans and transformed them into his subjects because of the nature of superpowers in my world. Golden Age is awesome. They breathe air, so maybe they build forges on land. Good point. These Atlanteans anyway. These Atlanteans. Silver Age is okay. Apparently, she travels to Red Sun's world so she can get drunk and laid. I don't know what to say about that. Golden Age Marvel Man is actually pretty good. I love Silver Age Superman. That was when most of his iconic rogues gallery came into place. Yeah, I didn't like Silver Age Superman at the time. Now I find it charming. Now I like it. Now when I read a Silver Age story, it's just like, this is the Superman from my childhood. I miss that guy. I do like Golden Age Superman. Golden Age Superman had a sarcastic wit, and he was socially relevant. He fought bad landlords, and he fought bad bosses, and he fought drunk drivers and bad husbands. Stuff nobody likes. Those aren't left-wing things. Those are popular things. The right wing doesn't like exploiting bosses either. The left likes exploitive bosses. That they like these people who hire illegal aliens for cheap rates. What do you want me to say? Yeah, everybody hates drunk drivers and bad and abusive husbands. What age produced the most memes? I don't know. I don't spend that much time on the internet, believe it or not. That's why I think I'm more normal than most people on the internet. I've heard enough Golden Age to know that the plots were like a B movie. The heroes never had any difficulty defeating the bad guys. The dialogue was more, well, comic books were considered throwaway garbage for little children. Tom King is writing the Supergirl movie. That might be your answer. I come up with another thing. Maybe sonic vibration, dolphin echolocation done to the extreme that vibrate those atoms. Okay, I love these ideas. I love that squinty-eyed Superman of the Golden Age. Yeah. 70s Spider-Man cartoon is all the memes. Yep. That's actually the late 60s. Silver Age Supes was lighthearted, always in on some kind of weird predicament. It was fun, yeah. He had a sense of humor. He intrinsically knew what was good, and the right thing to do. He wasn't deconstructed, and it was there's a word for it. Like there was no continuity. Each issue was standalone. You could read them in any order. Do you remember the Herb Trimpe Hulk when Havoc defeated the Hulk by narrowing his plasma beam into Hulk's forehead? No, that's probably in this series of comics that I didn't read yet. I think I started collecting Hulk. I think it was 236. So from now to 235, I don't think I've ever read, or maybe I did. I don't know, but I don't recall reading them. I'll say it's interesting to see the evolution of comics. You got, yep, that's the Dean Cain Superman. Yeah, he is kind of squinty-eyed. Oh, he's Asian. Da, 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 da. The word is bottle episode, at least in terms of TV. Not sure what the term is for comic. Yeah, like The Simpsons. Is it episodic? When, like my wife and I would talk about like old TV shows. It wasn't like a story. It wasn't a progression. Like soap operas had long progressions, but like The Odd Couple, you could watch The Odd Couple in any order. The Honeymooners, any order. Seinfeld in any order. But like Breaking Bad was a story. But there's a word like The Simpsons. Every issue just restores the status quo, and they did everything in the Silver Age. Yep. Whatever happened to Havoc? I don't know. Modern Marvel. Don't want to. Do you think early Superman had some superhuman sense of conscience, or was he always due to his upbringing? Probably both. Because Superman, we always forget everything about Superman was super. His intelligence, his intuition, his wisdom, everything about him was super. They killed Superman in the Silver Age too. I have the issue. While not as grim and dark as Snyder's version, I found it a bit goofy and childlike, a little woke and preachy in parts. You're talking about the movie? So you're the first person to say anything that it was woke. How you doing out there, Tony? I heard that there's been flash flooding in New Mexico. Are you anywhere near the flash flooding? I think they said near Truth or Consequences, but it's a film for Gen Z. Status quo is God is a recognized trope. Not sure if that's what you're thinking about. I've never heard that term before. I've never heard that term before. So I don't know what else to say. The comments are still coming. Nothing wrong with know what is good, but I feel the story should be more complex than that. Yeah, I mean, especially like the Justice League, like they were just like that national treasure. We got to get to here to get to here to get to here to get to, and then when you examine it all, it's like this doesn't really make sense. But DC pandered to children, and Stan Lee, I think maybe EC, entertaining comics. I think entertaining comics were probably the first comics that didn't pander to children. They treated children as like intelligent, human beings rather than just idiots. And then Atlas Comics kind of pandered to children, and I think Marvel, Stan Lee just got tired of it and started to stop pandering to children, and it took DC a little while to stop the pandering. Children love DC. Yep. Did Superman have more than 7 super attributes than as compared to Superman? Has everything. Superman he had plot powers, he could do anything. Super speed, super breath, super healing, super flight, super, intelligence, super whatever, super memory. Superman had infinite powers, if you ask me. No, thank God Albuquerque didn't receive much flash flooding. Yeah, I remember in Albuquerque when I lived out there, ditches are deadly. Like the arroyos. The arroyos, for those of you who don't know, are dry riverbeds, and they're dry for 90% of the time. Then all of a sudden, boom! Like there'll be a rainstorm in the mountains, and these arroyos are just natural paths for the water to drain from. And every year you hear a story about it, just a kid playing in the ditch, and they just get swept away by like boom, like a blast of water. So I remember those signs, ditches are deadly. And then, of course, all the lesbians that I used to hang out with, they wore shirts that said, bitches are deadly, stay away. Other than the romance comics, which were going for girls, yeah, I love those comic covers that you keep posting. Those Matt Baker covers are, oh man, if anybody knows of a collection of Matt Baker romance comics, I'd love to get them, because I can't get the original issues. EC was the bad boys of comics. That's right. Yeah. Yep. Hulk is dancing in the corner box. Yeah, he's doing some breakdancing. You know, a lot of Superman's powers come from the radio show. I guess I like certain kinds of Golden Age comics. Yep. What about bitches in ditches? There you go. Stay away from them. Where I live, we barely get any rain. It might rain 3 to 4 times a year. Where do you live? Where do you live? Man, it's been raining like constantly here in New York for like the past month. You know, it's like I didn't mow the lawn because like why mow the lawn? It's just gonna rain again. You know, so I got to go mow the lawn. It's getting pretty crazy, especially since the house next door is for sale, so it's like immaculate. So I look like the the Sanford and Son neighbor. I live in Southern California. It never rains in Southern California. That's what that song always told me. There's Israel versus Palestine allegory. Lex Luthor's using social media to fight Superman. I could go on, but I don't want to spoil it. Okay. You should try an eye patch and a bandana. You'll start a trend. There you go. I have an eye patch. A bandana. Why a bandana? I never liked bandanas. All right, so I got nothing else to say. And I'm going to be talking with RJ from the Fourth Age over on his channel. So go in a half hour at 8:30, Fourth Age. Go into your YouTube, type in the Fourth Age. I'll put a link in Twitter, and we'll be talking to them. And we actually have a topic. We're going to be like, if you're new to comics, how do you break into comics if you're new? So I think that'll be an interesting topic. And I think I have a really boring response to that. There was some Mac Baker pages and collection of Black exhibit in August Wilson Museum. Oh, he's from Pittsburgh. Marcus reminds me of David Harbour in that one photo. I can see that. What pirates wore? Tied handkerchief on there. They call it do-rags now. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to shut it down, and we will see everybody over on the Fourth Age. Okay, why is it not clicking? Go. And it doesn't want to end.